This is a demonstration of how to load data into the Indirect survey application of Concentric Survey Manager. I start by logging on, and first I make sure that I've selected the correct application, which in this case is the Indirect survey application. Start by creating a company. Now I already have 3 companies here, but if I didn't, I would simply click the plus sign next to the company name, enter a name, and then click Submit. I do the same thing for region, line, job number. So I'll call this my region. You can call it whatever you want. Select that. My line. Then we'll just call this job number 12345. Now I need to create a new survey type. In this case, I'm going to choose CIS, but I could choose CIS, dpol, DCVG, or a text-based waveprint. These are the 4 types of surveys that Survey Manager currently supports. I'll choose CIS, and I'll give the survey a name. The start date and end date are optional, but if you'd like to enter them, you certainly can. And then lastly, I'll start adding segments. So again, I click the plus sign next to the segments. I do have to pick a date, and I also have to pick a technician. I'll choose myself. And then I have optional items here like diameter or notes. I'm going to leave those empty, and I'm going to start loading data. So I'm going to drag a survey file into this box and then click Submit. The survey file types that we support are close or CSV and SVY. In this case, I'm using CSV, but you could just as easily use an SVY file directly from the Allegro. And I'm going to drag in my third file here, my third segment, and I will be done. So I will close this, and now these segments appear. So one thing that I wanted to point out is that when these 3 files are loaded, the system attempts to match the beginning and end GPS coordinates to construct the entirety of the survey, regardless of what portions of that line are actually in each segment. In this case, the system didn't do a perfect job. What we can see is that as I move my mouse along the graph here, that I get to a certain point and look down at the map, and the first segment that was loaded was done north to south. The second segment was south to north, and then I keep moving on, and now I hop back to the third segment, file number 3, and that's north to south again. So what I have here is a directional problem that I can very easily fix using one of these 3 arrows over here. So it was the second file, the CIS file 2.csv, that was in the opposite direction of the other 2 files. So to fix that, I simply click the reverse segment button and then the refresh survey button. I know that the survey needs to be refreshed because it says out of sync refresh survey at the top here. So let me go ahead and refresh that. And what we'll see now is that the survey segments are perfectly aligned and all joined together. The other thing that I can do in this window, which I don't need to in this case because the system did a pretty good job of matching each segment to the subsequent segments, but if I needed to, I could drag these files around and reorder them. And if I do that in this case, it's going to kind of mess everything up, but at least you'll see what it looks like if the order isn't correct. So let me drag 3 back to the bottom, refresh the survey, and we are back to normal. And that's it.